A Kelsey Russo article about Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah just changed how Mark is looking at the entire Deshaun Watson situation. The prediction pen came in today absolutely on fire. And a viewer comment used the word hogwash in reference to Ty Simpson, and you simply cannot ignore a comment that contains the word hogwash. Let's get into it. First, the dates. Tuesday, April 7th, they get back on the field. April 8th, first media availability. April 21st, voluntary veteran minicamp. Then the draft on April 23rd, followed by rookie minicamp May 8th and 9th, OTA workouts running through May and into early June, and mandatory veteran minicamp June 9th through 11th. Football is back in Cleveland on Tuesday. Mark it down. Now JK. Kelsey Russo of the Cleveland Browns official website wrote what Mark thinks is a must-read article about Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah and his next chapter. JK is going to pursue his master's degree in public policy at the Harvard Kennedy School this fall. The article included an excerpt from the essay JK wrote as part of his application, and it is worth sitting with. After the injury, after the doctors told him he might never play again following that tackle on Derrick Henry, JK wrote this. The fear was real, but instead of sinking into depression, I reflected on what had already been meaningful to me. Recovery forced me to face a question that I had long avoided. If football ends tomorrow, how then will I be defined? He talked about the community work he had been doing, mentoring young people, helping families facing food insecurity, building youth programs, and he said the injury did not introduce his purpose, but required him to choose it intentionally. That is a 20-something-year-old professional athlete who got the worst possible medical news and responded by asking himself what he was actually built for beyond the game. That is character. Jimmy Haslam wrote JK a letter of recommendation. So did Andrew Berry. So did Cleveland Mayor Justin Bibb. And what Berry said in the article is the part that hit differently. He said, I always tell guys when they come into the organization that whether they're here for 10 minutes or 10 years, we want them to be better players and better people when they leave. He said JK is a lifelong Brown, and that writing that letter of recommendation was easy. He called him a great ambassador for the organization, and said anything the Browns can do to help him, they will do. Mark needs to pause on that for a second, because you hear constantly, in comment sections, on social media, in pockets of a fan base, that the Browns are a horrible organization, that they do not care about their players, that they are a dysfunctional mess. And then you read this. You look at what they are doing with Martin Emerson Jr., a player who is technically not on the team, whose contract expired, who is rehabbing from injury, and who the Browns are allowing to use the facility to work his way back, giving him a real shot. You look at the Badanolio situation, where they extended his deadline, absorbed a cap hit out of loyalty to a veteran player, and let him take his time. You look at JK, 5 years in the organization, a career-ending injury, and the owner, the GM, and the mayor of the city all writing letters to Harvard on his behalf. That is not what bad organizations do. That is what great organizations do. The clowning of the Cleveland Browns as an organization has to stop. The evidence is right there if you are willing to look at it. And here is where this got Mark thinking about Deshaun Watson. He is turning over a new leaf on the Watson situation, and he wants to be clear about why. Is not because he suddenly believes Watson is going to start. Is not because he thinks the injury concern has gone away. Is because the JK article reminded him that the Browns stand by their players, and Watson is one of them. The organization brought him here, committed to him, and when it fell apart in a way nobody could have predicted, they did not cut and run. Nobody else wanted Watson. The Browns leaned in. And now he is out there working with Jerry Jeudy, Isaiah Bond, and Jamari Thrash, throwing passes, fulfilling his contractual obligations, and making it look like he cares about getting back. As Terry Pluto noted in a recent column, Mike Holmgren once told him, you always talk about your quarterback like he's your guy until he's not. Until something changes, Watson is the Browns' guy. He is their backup. He is part of this organization. And Mark is going to start treating it that way instead of constantly leading with the doubt. If Watson works his way back and becomes a solid backup behind Shedeur, that is a good thing for this team. Positive vibes only. Now the prediction pen. Outstanding session today. Outstanding. First question. Will Deshaun Watson be the backup quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in 2026? Without a doubt. C. Even the prediction pen has turned over a new leaf. Will Spencer Fano be drafted by the Browns? No way. Will Monroe Freeling be drafted by the Browns? No-brainer. The prediction pen says Freeling is the guy. Mark has been saying it. The prediction pen is confirming it. Monroe Freeling, a true left tackle who played left tackle at Georgia in a program that has been a conveyor belt for NFL talent, is the target. Will Dillon Gabriel be part of the Browns' quarterback depth chart in 2026? Without a doubt. So Gabriel stays as QB3 behind Shedeur and Watson. The quarterback room: Shedeur, Watson, Gabriel. Not glamorous, but workable with a durable starting quarterback who is not giving that job up. Will there be a meltdown Monday after the draft? No way. The prediction pen says Andrew Berry is going to have a good draft night. Friday through Sunday are still in play for some emotional volatility depending on how things fall, but Monday the prediction pen guarantees calm. And then the question of the week from Anthony Jordan: will the Ty Simpson talk in the first and second rounds get a coach fired? Without a doubt. Somebody somewhere is going to spend real capital on Ty Simpson, and their fan base is not going to let them forget it. That is the prediction pen's most confident answer of the day, and possibly of the entire season. Viewer comments. Victor Grimes comes in hot with 2 words that made this entire comment section: hogwash. He says if anyone thinks Ty Simpson is better than Shedeur Sanders after 15 college games, that is hogwash. And Victor, hogwash is exactly right. Mendoza is the consensus #1 quarterback in this draft. The next quarterback on most boards after him has 37 non-quarterbacks ranked above him. 37. This is not a quarterback draft. The Browns know it. That is why they keep inviting quarterbacks in for visits, not to draft one, but to keep other teams guessing and generate trade interest. Shedeur is the starter, Watson is the backup, and anyone arguing otherwise is dealing in hogwash. Bizzle369 comes in with a report on Chris Bell, the receiver out of Louisville. Bell had already been in the building for a top 30 visit. He is coming back from an ACL tear and is projected in the 60s right now as a day 2 value. The training camp timeline might be a little tight, but if he's ready for week 1 or close to it, a second or third round Chris Bell is the kind of value Andrew Berry looks for. Mark still wants big targets above everything else, and Bell is on the smaller side, but if he slides to the back half of the second round or into the third, that is a receiver worth considering. Muscleman is back demanding Jeremiah Love no matter what, and Mark is going to tell Muscleman directly. The Jeremiah Love breakdown is coming tomorrow, and Muscleman is not going to be happy. Sean Willis simply says better blocking, and that is all he needs to say. Yes, already better, and the draft is going to make it better still. Monroe Freeling as the answer to the left tackle question, per the prediction pen, means the offensive line is about to take a significant step forward. And Buckeye03, a creative Navy fan handle, closes it out by asking if this draft is going to feel like Draft Day, the Kevin Costner movie about the Browns. Sonny Weaver Jr., Vontae Mack, everything falling into place on the biggest night. Mark thinks that is exactly right. For the first time in a very long time, the Browns go into draft night holding all the cards: 2 first-round picks, 10 total selections, plenty of assets in the top 75 picks, and needs that are covered by this draft class at every level of depth. Andrew Berry is going to channel his inner Sonny Weaver. The destination is controlled. The night is going to be something special. Tuesday they are back on the field. Thursday the real countdown begins.